Conclusions of the primary film. The film starts with Jake Contaminate portraying his unobtrusive and serene life as head of the Omaticaya group and raising a family with, more than 10 years after the occasions of the primary film. The film starts with Jake Contaminate portraying his unobtrusive and serene life as head of the Omaticaya group and raising a family with his significant other Neytiri, which incorporates his children Nidiam and Loike and his girl Tug, his embraced little girl Kiri, brought into the world from Elegance Augustine's lethargic Na6 symbol, and a human kid named Bug, the child of Miles Quaritch who was brought into the world on Pandora. However, couldn't be shipped to Earth in cryostasis. While Jake can acknowledge Insect as a took-on child, Neytiri is suspicious of him given his human starting points. Be that as it may, every one of the youngsters blend and mingle well with one another including Bug, whom Kiri is loving with despite the fact that he is a human. Bug doesn't embrace his human legacy and feels more lean to Na6 culture and customs. They carry on with a typical existence until one day they notice an unusual star in the night sky. Unfortunately, they understand it's a RDA space transport with people getting back to Pandora to colonize it, raising another super working base once more. Among the fresh debuts in the boat is Colonel Quaritch, who has been cloned into a Na6 body and with his recollections transferred from before his demise. Subsequently, Quaritch can't recall his destruction because of Jake yet is simply ready to remember the occasions previously and his vindictive mission to dispose of Jake. To keep the RDA from taking advantage of Pandora once more, Jake drives an essential guerrilla activity against the RDA supply lines debilitating them. In one of the tasks, Loike, who defies Nidiam and anxious to show what him can do, attempts to help Jake in fight yet gets injured. Jake safeguards and trains him to not jeopardize his own security by being foolish. That evening, while at the same time keeping an eye on his injuries, Neytiri serenely reminds Jake to be not excessively unforgiving with Loike, to which Jake communicates his anxiety as a dad for the security of his youngsters. In the interim, the counter follow-up on the RDA supply lines doesn't agree with Quaritch who starts a pursuit mission to kill Jake. During a lively endeavor, Jake's youngsters alongside Bug investigate further into the rainforest. Unbeknownst to them, Quaritch and his group are at a similar area investigating the site where Quaritch will see his human remaining parts. A perceptive Loike sees their presence and rapidly illuminates his dad Jake who is made aware of the circumstance. Nonetheless, an encounter happens and Quaritch's crew catches Jake's youngsters. Jake and Neytiri show up in time and free a large portion of them, yet Bug is taken by Quaritch, who remembers him as his child. On board the boat, the RDA attempts to coercively separate data about Jake from Insect who won't give. Evolving system, Quaritch tends to Bug as his child and furthermore to make sense of more about the Na6 in return for his opportunity on his side. Despite the fact that unagreeable and ignorant about Quaritch's real mission, Insect shows Quaritch Na6 culture. Quaritch is additionally effectively ready to tame a Necron flying animal as his vehicle. Knowing the risk Bug's information on his whereabouts stances to their security and furthermore to stay away from another disaster, Jake persuades a hesitant Neytiri and his family to oust themselves from the Omaticaya group and retreat toward the eastern seaboard of Metaiana, a coral reef island whose faction and way of life is adjusted to Pandora's seagoing natural surroundings. Jake gives his main mantle to his replacement and passes on altogether to Metaiana. Once showed up, they are welcomed by the family Boston Owery and his better half Ronal who is dubious of them at first. In any case, Jake makes sense of their circumstance and they are consented to remain and given cover. Despite the fact that a few tribesmen mock Jake and his kids for their hereditary human legacy, the family learns the methods of the reef individuals gaining the appreciation of them. Kiri is intrigued with the oceanic existence of Metaiana and fosters a profound bond with the ocean and its animals, while Loike gets to know Tsyria, the girl of tribe Boston Owery and his significant other Ronal. While adjusting to their new climate, Loike gets into a battle with Tsyria's sibling Aonan when he pokes an unrefined fun at Kiri and him of their blended human genealogy. Jake rebukes his child for his way of behaving. At Jake's demand, Loike gets back to apologize to Aonan and his companions. Be that as it may, they captivate him to an excursion into the domain of a perilous ocean hunter and leave him abandoned as a retribution. The ocean hunter attempts to go after Loike. Nonetheless, Loike is saved by and gets to know Payakan, a Tulkan, a wise and pacifistic cetacean species whom the Metaiana think about their otherworldly family. Upon his revisitation of Metaiana, Boston Owery, who became mindful of Aonan's activities on Loike, requests that the previous apologize to Loike. Nonetheless, Loike assumes the fault on himself, winning Aonan's companionship. He is likewise informed that Payakan is a pariah among his species. In the meantime, out traveling to a branch off of the Tree of Spirits, Kiri joins with it to meet her mom, yet experiences a brutal seizure. She is recuperated by Ronal, yet when Jake calls Norm Spellman and Max Patel for help, Quaritch can follow them to the archipelago where the reef individuals reside. Carrying Bug with him, he secured a whaling vessel which is hunting Tulkins to gather their mind catalysts for making hostile to maturing cures. Quaritch starts to fiercely scrutinize the native clans about Jake's area, bombing that. He arranges the whaling team to wantonly kill the Tulkins to draw Jake out. Loike intellectually interfaces with Payakan and discovers that the Tulkin was projected out on the grounds that he conflicted with the methods of his species and went after the whalers who killed his mom. At the point when the Metiana learn of the Tulkin butchers, Loike takes off to caution Payakan, trailed by his kin, Syria and Aonan. They find Payakan being pursued by the whalers, and Loike, Kiri, and Tuck are caught by Quaritch. With their kids at serious risk, Jake, Neytiri, and the Metiana set off on a mission to stand up to the people. Quaritch powers Jake to give up, however seeing his spirit sibling jeopardized, Payakan assaults the whalers, setting off a battle which kills the majority of the group and fundamentally harms the vessel, making it sink. Neytiri salvages Loike and Bug, yet is lethally shot. Jake faces Quaritch, who involves Kiri as a prisoner. At the point when Neytiri does likewise with Bug, Quaritch at first denies his child, yet stops when Neytiri cuts Bug on the chest. Jake, Quaritch, Neytiri, and Tuck end up caught inside the sinking vessel. Jake chokes Quaritch into obviousness and is safeguarded by Loike and Payakan, and Kiri gathers ocean animals to help her save Neytiri and Tuck. Bug finds and safeguards Quaritch, yet passes on him because of his mercilessness towards the NA6 and putting his objective to kill Jake's family over being his dad and turning into a decent man, driving him back to rejoin Jake's loved ones. After Neytiri's burial service, Jake and his family choose to forever